Yeah, so talking about Osgood Law School, you also founded Osgood Society Against Institutional Justice. What was that important for you to incorporate into your time there?
It was important because when I was at Osgood, there was no organization politically that was challenging institutions. And yes, there was the Black Law Students Association, but they were more for Black law students who just needed support to navigate law school.
Okay.
And so I said, well, we need something more to fight for the rights of disenfranchised, no matter what race, what color, what religion. We need something to stand up to institutions.
Yeah.
And fortunately, Dean Sawson, who was the dean at the time, when he saw the story broke and me doing interviews and speaking out against injustice, he said, Knia, we really like what you're doing. We support you. Anything you need, let us know.
Okay.
And that sparked in my mind to say, you know what? This is time for a new organization to be formed that can address these issues. And I had a good set of students in my section. 4 other of my classmates, they joined with me, and we co-founded the Osgood Society Against Institutional Injustice.
Wow.
And we actually used that group to push against the rules of arbitrary detention or the violations of the charter against the community. And we spoke out. I spoke out at the police boards about my own personal experience, but then I would do another deputation on behalf of Osgood Society. We called it OSI,
Okay.
and I was the president of OSI.
Okay, hold on. You said deputation. For the viewers, and I don't even know what deputation means. So what does that mean, deputation?
Okay, so when in regards to issues at City Hall, whether it's finance, tourism, policing, anything that the city controls, there's an opportunity for you to attend committees and speak as a citizen to say, this is what I think about this issue going forward. I want you to pay attention to these concerns. And so when the carding story broke in the Star, it started gaining a lot of traction. And then there
what year? Sorry to cut you off.
Sure,
there.
no
What year was that when the carding was that? 2005?
2013 is when this story hit.
2013.
2013.
Oh wow. Okay.
So the Toronto Star had been doing stories on race and crime, and big shout out to Jim Rankin and Patty Windsor for the work they did, starting in the early 2000s. But it never really caught on, and they did a series of them. What the problem was that when people spoke about their experiences, they never really wanted to go on camera or say their name because they were afraid of reprisal. There was a big fear that, the police would target them or somebody
100%.
would try to silence them. So everyone stayed out of the limelight. Chris and I, we've always been people who stand up for justice, and we knew no matter what, the truth is the truth, as I said. And so we spoke up. So when we started speaking up, that's what created the whole issue. So with the deputations now, when the stories started going and the interviews started happening, I would always sign up for deputations. And this is where, you have to think strategically and use your opportunities. You can make a deputation as a citizen.
Okay.
So I would sign up as me, Knia Singh, to make my deputation. But I'd also make a deputation on behalf of Osgood Society. So then I had another 5 minutes. So I would have 10 minutes at every police board meeting to discuss the personal impact on people in the community, because I can speak from first-hand experience. And then I would speak on the legal impact and how it was wrong legally through Supreme Court decisions, charter right decisions, and just morality reasons why it was wrong. So that's what a deputation is. It's a chance for you to move the ball. And when you make your deputation, all the decision makers can get influenced by your speeches and then ask you questions and clarify issues. Then they take that information, they go back and they debate amongst themselves, and then they pass motions that actually change. So through a series of deputations from other lawyers, activists, advocates across the community, we were able to move the Police Services Board to implement a policy on community engagement, which addressed how police were interacting with members of the community.
Wow. That's pretty inspiring, man. I didn't even know that that was even a possibility for, just for a normal citizen to go in front of the police board and, share their experiences with them, and then they take that in and then kind of, weigh what they heard and then make a decision that actually affects our communities that we live in on a day-to-day basis.
Definitely.
Yeah, so staying on the police issue here, I shouldn't say issue, but staying on the police, policing has always been an issue in housing communities across Toronto, right? Premier Doug Ford, he just scrapped a plan for police oversight, right?
He said he's going to.
He's going to. Yeah, he's going to, scrap the plan for police oversight. What are your thoughts on that?
It's very disappointing. Hundreds of people, maybe thousands, have worked on this new reformed Police Services Act,
Mm-hmm.
and we all got together and we reviewed the previous Police Services Act
Mm-hmm.
and made amendments to improve it because it had been over 20 years since it had been changed.
Yeah.
There was protections put in for people when they make complaints. There was some stiffer penalties and scrutiny on officers because sometimes if officers aren't held to account, they can do behavior and commit conduct that goes
Exactly.
unpunished.
Mm-hmm.
And with the proper penalties, then you would deter some of that behavior.
Yeah.
So that was part of the frame.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it seems like Doug Ford thinks that that's too restrictive,
Mm-hmm.
and he's saying that he wants to change that. So it's really about we made progress, and it seems like the new conservative government wants to dial it back. And I want to say that's why it's so important that people vote, because when you don't vote, you end up getting governments that are going to make decisions for you. And I think if the rest of the communities knew that this would be Doug Ford's approach to politics, they probably would have made a bigger effort to get together and vote to make sure that that type of government or that type of leader doesn't take power.
Exactly. So like there's a minister, Michael Tabolo. He's the community safety and corrections minister. He actually in the parliament on in Queens Park, he actually made a speech saying that he went to Jane and Finch wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's divisive for a community, or do you think that that's like it helps a community in any type of way?
I think it's divisive. I wouldn't necessarily call it racist to the nth degree, but at the same time, it's a statement that sparks a lot of thoughts, right? And it's negative thoughts. And when he starts talking about walking through Jane and Finch with a bulletproof vest, everyone's saying, well, it's not that safe. It's that bad that you need one, or else you're going to get shot on the street. But we know that most of the shootings, they're not happening just as you walk in the street. Like, unfortunately, innocent people, yes, are getting targeted and people are getting killed. But Jane and Finch is also a good community with good people. I've been through there so many times. I helped put on the Kiddies Caravana there for years. So I know the good people that live there and that want better for the community. And unfortunately, Toronto as a city, there is no discrimination about where gunshots are going to take place. We saw with the Eaton Center shooting, it can happen anywhere. We're seeing recently with Danforth, it can happen anywhere. So yes, Jane and Finch has been plagued with violence, and that's due to socioeconomic conditions. But across the city is a place where you have to be aware. But I think his move was really to not heighten awareness. It's called fear mongering, right? Scare the community, scare the supporters into saying, yes, we need more police. Yes, we have to bring back carding. And yes, we need to lock these guys up and throw away the key. Not understanding that you need to address the social root issues of violence in order to eliminate it, not just bring in more police and bulletproof vests.
Yeah, exactly.